Hi, Chetana. Good evening. Welcome back to Festivals of India.
Thank you, Monisha. Namaste, everybody.
Okay, so for everybody out there, let me just make a short introduction and welcome before that to the talk series by Chetana Keni. Chetana is from Bangalore, India, and she is currently the founder of Aurinko Academy. She's an education evangelist and an education thought leader. She has launched Aurinko Academy a couple of years back in Bangalore, which is a progressive learning space. It is a unique community of holistic thinking, adventurous hands-on teachers and parents, forum. Aurinko Academy is also a K-12 school in Bangalore. It's an award-winning school with a Gurukul system. So, Chetana, thank you so much. You've been a part of the Festivals of India Forum for a bit now. You've taken part in multiple activities with us. So thanks for all the encouragement. And it's a pleasure to host your talk series with us this time for the Christmas event, which is called A Reason to Sparkle. We in fact had a lovely backstage discussion in terms of trying to plan out the series, and a lot of learning already from me because, I've kind of been discussing the topics with you, very interesting. And I assure the audience that they're going to learn a lot from, the series that is coming up. So for the first of its kind series that we are doing with you, Chetana, I think the focus is on the education in the new normal world. That is what we are calling the series, and we're going to be talking about what's the big change. So what, according to you, Chetana, is the academic, the existing academic structure like today in the education system?
So, see, until now, we had this 10+2 kind of a system, right? You finish your grade 1 to 10, and then you write a board exam, and then you go on to your 12th grade. That was the academic structure. And thereafter, you do your 3-year or your 4-year graduation that you usually did. So that was our academic structure. The preschool is really not defined much in our country, though some states have taken on, but the program is not structured. So while you can register with the government to open a preschool, and in some places it is really mandatory, even then there is no structure that is defined. Grade 1 to 10, we know that there is a structure. The NCF is there, and they have defined the blueprint for what a child should be studying between grade 1 to grade 10. And how the board exam should be conducted, and even the 12th grade board exam is there. And you have a certain number of subjects that they have, certain amount of content that they've given, certain directions as to how the children should be assessed, and what should be the criteria for the child to go on grade to grade. Some places they follow the no-fail philosophy, and some places they do assess children, and children do go through the passing, failing cycle and all of these things. So today's structure is more based on content, right? The quantity of the content and how the children can actually be broadcasted with this, and they take what they take, and thereafter they're assessed using high-stake examination. So you write it, and it's a do or die situation. You either get through or you don't get through. Your entire the way you are looked into is more from these examinations point of view. Who you are, what you are, where you are, how do you learn, all of this is not really focused on. So that is our education system. Plus we have a lot of silos, right? You have the science stream, you have the art stream and the commerce stream, and you really can't, you don't have flexibility. If you see, you have to fit into the system. That is what today's education system in our country is. That is the structure that you have to fit into the system. Even graduation is those streams, and you get into that. You really can't do anything much. You can do one after the other, but you can't do together. So that is the structure as of today in our country.
So very true, Chetana. In fact, I went through something very similar recently because my eldest, who is 14 years of age today, and we were moving from Bangalore to Visakhapatnam, where I'm based, right? And she did not want to get into a science stream. Okay, so she wanted to go in for a commerce, and she's in a regular ICSE board. But then the binding was that, you have to, but there was no separate commerce stream, though the same school, the same board exam, the board of, education had schools in Bangalore, which offered a slight flexibility. Here, the schools in Vizag had this issue, and they said that, no, sorry, you have to take up, science and maths along with an optional subject, which was actually commerce, where I felt, very restrained, because this is the same educational institution, where I had studied close to like 30 years back, and it just remained unchanged, right? And now with so much of progress happening around us, where there are different, streams in the industry where children and, the fresh graduates are getting into, it's really sad that that whole translation hasn't happened, or at least it's not visible in so many existing schools which have been going on for years together. So completely agree with you there, Chetana. My next question to you would be, in terms of what is the proposed education system, right? The changes that have been proposed by the ministry. And I wanted to have your, insight in terms of how that, is a little more comprehensible to a lay person like us. I'm sure lots of parents are also in that same space of trying to figure it out. And I would like to share this amazing piece of slide that you had, sent to me a while back. So let's put that on while we listen to you. Yes, Chetana. So what do you think is the proposed academic structure now?
So the left side is what I already spoke about, right? And you see that blank blue box, and then you have the black box, which is the 10 years, and then you have the 2 years. On the right side, you see a bigger blue box now, and then you see green, black, and yellow boxes. And I somehow feel it's indicative. The black box, you remember our life when we were doing grade 1 to 10. I somehow felt that our entire motivation was that 10th board exam. Somewhere we were raised every moment saying, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you'll not pass. You'll become some peon or some such thing, or a receptionist or something like that. I don't know why it was so looked down upon, but that is what it was. Even in grade 1, we heard the same thing of passing this big exam at the end of it, because that would define your future, right? And if you see, we were so exam oriented. It was all about completing 10th grade, completing 12th grade.
And getting into IIT for me, I don't know what pressure you grew up under, but I had this.
Same thing. So, but if you realize, I'm using the word completing. There was no word of experience. There was no word of inquiry. There was no word of interactiveness. There was nothing, right? So
very arresting, absolutely very arresting model.
So now that is changing. So if you see the right side, you see it a little more lively. You see it a little more structured, right? And what is that structure? One of the best things that has happened is, look at the blue box. It's not just your preschool and the 2 years of grade 1 and 2 have been added. Now, why has that been added, right? That has been added because you're having the preschool already that is not defined, and you have children across our country that are moving from preschool or no preschool into a grade 1.
Got it.
Right? What does that mean? It means you're having unevenness in the children that are coming in. Somebody knows reading, writing, spelling. Somebody doesn't know. Somebody has had some stimulation. Somebody doesn't have stimulation. You have so many aspects to all of this, right? And if you remember, in UKG, every child is pushed towards that entrance exam, into getting into that school that will assess you. And somewhere we get them ready to do everything that you have to do grade 1 to 10 in some way. Because you need to have the best of reading, best of writing, best of spelling, everything already. So that was causing a lot of stress on children, because that is not the age when these things happen. If you give children about, till 6 to 8 years of age, that is the time when everything kind of settles down.
Sure.
Right? So that is something that is completely changing, which means your preschool and your grade 1 and 2 are coming together. Right? And the children will have about 5 years of time to kind of, adjust, learn in a play way, multi-level way, so that each child blossoms at their own level. There is no pressure at age 5 to get into a system at a particular expectation.
Got it.
They're also adding at grade 1, they're adding a 3-month preparation module, in the sense that when you enter into grade 1, you're going to have a 3 months leveling kind of a module for everybody that comes in. So you don't have this mad rush that you have, and this crazy, coaching institutes to get into schools for that matter. Right? So that is a beautiful change that is happening. And then you have 3 years where that is the preparatory stage actually. where you are preparing and you're learning by using play, using discovery methods. You are having interactive classrooms with the teacher, with your classmates, and you're kind of learning all the basics of education, and you are learning how to perfect your skills of reading, writing, spelling, math, and also the other logical, analytical skills. All of these things are slowly coming up, and by age 5 you have slowly and steadily moved towards it, which is the
Got that.
natural progression of a child. A lot of research shows this is the natural progression of a child, right? Now after that, now you're ready, you kind of have grown up in a way that you know how to discover things. You are working on the inquiry based model. You know how to interact with people and co-construct the concept. You know how to apply it, right? And you also are fearless because you know that I can learn from many more people, and the dependency on the textbook is very, very less. When
Got
you
that.
know this, then you know that, okay, now I can go ahead and try and dabble with learning on my own, and look beyond these basics into where can I apply this learning skills. So now you're going to bring in the 3 years of your sixth, seventh, and eighth, which is a very beautiful time because you've grown up physically, mentally, emotionally. The maturation is much more than in the earlier years of school. And then you are now being exposed to subjects, core subjects. Like earlier also we had subjects, but now it's going to be more of the sciences, the mathematics, the arts, social sciences, humanities. Just bring in so many more ways in which you can discover the world around you using the skills that you learned in your 5 years or 8 years of your earlier learning, right? And then you bring in vocational skills over there, expose the children to their community, the skills in that community, bring in artificial intelligence, bring in coding, bring in digital literacy, of course, and design thinking, organic living. Bring in all these aspects so child can actually now move beyond himself and look at the world around, right? And from there, you move on to the yellow box, which is now I know myself, I have skills, I've dabbled with a lot of things, I know the world around me. There are certain things that I love doing. And now I want to go ahead in that and see what I can continue doing in that area. That is
Sure.
how the career connect happens. And that is why the yellow box is from 9th grade to 12th grade, where I have 4 years of a multidisciplinary study. It's no longer going to be silos. You don't have like science stream and commerce stream and all that. You just have a bunch of subjects over there that are given to you. You take in your interests, your likes, your dislikes, or whatever it is. You map it to the career that you have, and then you take that on to forming these, taking up these subjects, which will become the vehicles of you to, train yourself.
Got that.
And
Got that.
the vehicles for you to move in the direction of your career, right? And the vehicles for you to achieve your dreams.
Got that.
Right? And then thereon you go on to the graduation. I don't have that part here, but even that is changing. We are moving away from 3-year graduation formats to a 4-year format with a lot of gap years in between. You can actually take gap years at 10th, at 12th, at your graduation first year, second year, third year. And at every level, you will get credit for it. You will get a certificate, a diploma, a graduation, or a research degree, which means that education is completely liberalized, where for the child, right, you have the liberty to choose what you want in line with what you want to achieve in life, mix and match, let go something that you picked, choose something else. So it's really beautiful. I am speaking to you from not just from the NEP point of view. This structure is something I have used from 10 years in Aurinko, and this has given us amazing results at every level. We've never had children who don't like learning or have to be motivated externally. They're completely passionate, driven, purposeful, right? And everybody knows a 10-year career path at the end of their grade 8, because of which they know the subjects, they know the colleges, whichever direction they want to go. And because of which, when they finish their 12th grade, they exactly know what they want, why they want, where they need to go, what do they need to do for it. Everything is their plan. And that's why there's greater ownership, there is greater engagement, there's greater commitment, and there is definitely then greater amount of achievement, right?
Absolutely, Chetna. In fact, I'm going to now move back to just the two of us because I think this has been like an amazing piece of information. So, Chetna, now that we are seeing that this is in a proposed state of affairs, right? This policy has not yet been rolled out.
Yeah.
And do you have any visibility in terms of when we can actually see this coming into action?
See, India is a very large country, right? So it's not going to just happen in a day or two, right? This requires a total mind shift. This is not just a systemic thing that we are looking at as a process oriented or something, but this is a mind shift, and that mind shift is required in all stakeholders that are working with children, right? Plus, we need infrastructure to be able to do what NEP is telling. And I have spoken just about the academic structure. NEP has revamped a whole lot of things.
So for all those who don't know the full form of NEP, could you just help out them to understand?
National Education Policy 2020.
Exactly. And that is exactly what we just spoke about, which is what Chetna took us through in terms of the existing and the proposed structure. Yes,
and
Chetna, please continue.
That is being proposed by the Ministry of HRD, which is now renamed to Ministry of Education. So what the NEP has spoken about is not just in terms of the academic structure, it's in terms of the entire education system. As in, and because of what they have proposed, we need a whole lot of schools. It's not just one or two, but it's a whole lot of, maybe around 50 schools a week you need to open to be able to do this. They want to bring in 2 crore children that are out of school back into the system. They want to, and to be able to have this kind of thing, we need to maybe recruit around 200 teachers per week. So these are all things that are happening, that need to happen, right? And in our country, education, teaching is the last job that anybody wants to enter into, right? The mindset has to change about education, about teaching, and teaching is actually no more a career. Education is your career actually nowadays.
Exactly.
Right? Because you have like a plethora of choices within that. And now because of the disruption due to COVID, you can become an online teacher, you can create your own courses, and you can teach a larger crowd. It's not just about children nowadays. So that mindset, first of all, has to change, and more people have to come into this. More people with more varied experiences have to come into this. So as a country, you need infrastructure. So that is going to be a limiting factor in terms of the time that is taken to achieve this. Then you have the states, right? Each state has its own thought process about this policy and how they can implement it. So what the ministry has done is give the NEP and ask states to come up with their plan, give it to the boards and ask them to come up with the plan. So everybody is coming up with a plan and with a timeline and all of these things. NEP has suggested that grade 9 changes right from next year. Grade 10 thereafter. So by 2024, you should have 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th completely changing. And because by then the higher education also will change, because there are new things that they've brought in. Like they have constituted the National Testing Agency, which is already there. But right now it has been given the job of having an entrance exam in such a way that you don't need all these coaching institutes and different coaching for different entrances for that matter. That you have after 12th grade, right?
So it's more like an aptitude level general entrance exam that will happen.
In any case, they're all the same actually. They're
exactly.
all the same. But of course, you have the IIT has a different level
format.
Of it. But it can be generalized. So they're looking at how they can do. So there are all these aspects that have to be done. So that's why NEP coming into the force can take anything between 8, 10 or 12 years or 15 years also. But in our own small ways, we can do it. So I'll talk about that a little later if we have an opportunity. But as of now, the NEP has been given to the states and they are coming up with it. So each state, anybody who's listening to this, each of your states will come up with a plan with the state boards, what they are going to do, when they're going to do, what the timelines will be. The CBSE and ICSE also will come up with something like that. NIOS will come up with something like that. But they have also ensured that there is an agency that is going to ensure all these boards are in line. We no longer have some board higher than the other or lower than the other. And this whole thing that we have about different boards catering to different needs, they're doing away with all of that. So they're ensuring that all boards are at the same level.
So for now, Chetna, as a parent, I think it's just the awareness that we need to create, right? That this is the change that is foreseeable, that we all need to sort of now start planning in case your child is at a younger age. that what can the child really expect in the next decade or so in terms of the transition that is going to take place?
For the younger grades, you will see some change. Like, for example, they're trying to bring in 1 year of preschool starting from next year. So you need 3 years of preschool to be integrated. So from next year, one year will start coming in. The 3-month preparatory plan that I spoke to you about grade 1, that they're bringing in immediately from next year. So all grade 1 children will see that change. In the grade 6 to 8, the vocational training that they wanted to, that may also come in very quickly, because there are a lot of edtech companies now which are doing what we really want. Not in the way perhaps that we wanted. Again, it depends on parents and all of that, but that is available, right? So easy plugins is what we'll be seeing. But like I said, India is a very large country. You can't have this kind of plugin like for the whole country to be rolled out. So you will see it in bits and pieces, in little spurts here and there, different activities you'll see. Plus there's this whole thing of teacher training, right? You can't just start this like that overnight. So they are going to be doing, and you'll see different levels of NEP being rolled out in different spaces.
Different ways. God. So since we are almost now ending this this talk show with you, Chetana, I think for me to generalize this whole discussion or wrap it up, so as to speak, or summarize, so as to speak, what we know is that we understand our existing academic structure very well, but what we foresee is a change where there's going to be a lot of flexibility, for a child to be educated in terms of the kinds of or the types of training that, the child can look forward to, be it vocational training, be it skill-based learning, which otherwise was not available in the existing structure. You have a lot of play there right up till the 9th standard, right? And then from the 9th to the 12th is when you're going to have a much more structured format of learning, which I think, again, is going to be adapted to take on the higher education streams, right? Which, again, is going to undergo the changes in terms of their entrance exam formats, etc. And I think the whole idea is to make the newer streams of career inclusive at this junction of a student's life, which I think is brilliant, right? And I think it's worth sort of allowing this transition to happen. But like you said, we all have that stakeholder ship in it, right? We all have to encourage, we have to make ourselves aware. We can't just think back of the kind of system that we've been following the last but I don't know how many decades of our life, and we have to be open to that mindset shift, which is, I think, is the first key, right? Unless you're receptive, it's going to be very, very difficult to understand the change. So starting with understanding, starting with, people like you who are experts from the domain coming out and actually creating the awareness, I think is a starting step. So thank you so much, Chetana. I'm in fact now looking forward to the next talk show with you, which is happening very soon here on Festivals of India, where we are going to be discussing the traditional versus, the non-traditional or the competency-based education system that is coming up. Like you've given us a little insight, but we're going to be delving into it in the next series. Thank you so much, Chetana. Looking forward to seeing you back here very soon. And that's a goodbye from both of us. See you again very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.